All right. Peace, y'all. It's your girl, Nicole, Sister Midwife, and I am doing my best to be consistent with my Monday musings. And today I'm going to talk about this birth worker journey. I get a lot of questions, a lot of emails, a lot of people hitting my inbox, and they're asking me questions like, I want to be a midwife, I want to be a doula. What next? What can I do? Can you give me some advice? Can you tell me which direction to go in? And I decided to talk about this tonight because actually I just went through all of my old emails that I had while I was traveling, and there were a few people who actually asked me this question. I want to be a midwife. What do you suggest? What do I do? And so I decided that that's what I would talk about this evening. And the first thing that I want to say is to everybody who's out there starting their birth journey, receiving this calling to go into birth work, just know that this is a lifelong journey. This is a lifelong journey. I'm not going to get into my whole story from like St. Bridget Parish and Village de l'Est of New Orleans, but I now realize and have discovered that the birth world, the birthing mothers, the divine feminine has been calling me into its path literally my entire life. My first birth doulaing experience was when I was 9 years old and my cousin was being born. Shout out to Monica. And I was there. I was kind of like the doula to my aunt. Shout out to Linda. And I was 9 years old, and that was my first birth experience. And I can look back on it now, and it's like, wow, that really was my first connection to birth and to understanding how this experience for this woman transforms into this beautiful life baby coming into our lives. So just know that it is a lifelong journey, and wherever you are in your journey, don't feel like you have to rush into it. Don't feel like you have to have all the answers today. I've been doing this work for 20 years, and I am still learning and growing and shifting and changing. And where I was when I graduated midwifery school, I am like 180 degrees different from that. So know that it is a lifelong journey. So just keep that in mind. One of the most common questions that I get from people is, do I have to be a nurse to become a midwife? And the answer simply is no. You do not have to become a nurse to be a midwife. I happen to be a certified nurse midwife because that is the path that I chose. I was already a labor and delivery nurse. I was already had an undergraduate degree in nursing. So for me, that made the most sense at that time. But if I had to do it again, I'm not sure what path I would choose. So when people ask me that, I always want to encourage them to seek out all of the various different options that are available, because you just don't really know which option will be best for you. There are so many various options. And so some of the things that I always tell people is you want to think about who you want to serve, where you want to serve, why you want to serve, and how you want to serve. And this is like literal, like where you want to serve, that's literal, because from state to state, the laws around midwifery, around home birth, hospital birth, birth centers, reimbursement, all that kind of stuff, it varies from state to state. So you really want to dig into yourself and start asking yourself these questions. Why do I want to do this work? How is it going to manifest in my life? What is it going to look like for me in my world to do this type of work? And I also want to recommend this book. If you are new on this journey, I am super excited and proud of my sister friend Sakisa. She has this book, When Birth Calls. If you are newly out there trying to figure out different pathways and an understanding about what a doula is, a different type of midwives, from traditional midwifery, certified professional midwives, certified midwives, doulas, certified nurse midwives, and all of the alphabet soup of midwifery, check out my sister's book. You can order it on her website. Oh, Sakisa, I don't know how they can order it. Please come into this live, or somebody, if you're on here, and you can tell them. But I promise you, if you go to her Instagram, Love and Touch, LOVENTOUCH, Peace and Tazaki, you can get her book. So check out her book, and it has a lot of those basic answers. I think it was about $15. I'm super excited and proud to be able to show this book. A lot of times, particularly in the Black community, we're like, where are our books? Here it is, right? You wanted a book about how to be a midwife, what it means to be a midwife. It's right here. Go buy it. Everybody go buy it. I bought it. I'm already a midwife. Don't need to know how to be a midwife. I am one. I still bought it because I wanted to support my sister. So if you're out there looking for this information, that's absolutely a great resource for you. So another common question I get, people want to know, do I have to be a doula in order to be a midwife? And again, the simple answer is no, you don't have to be a doula to be a midwife. I think it's a great idea to get involved in birth work on some sort of level before you go into midwifery, because midwifery is a big commitment. It's a big time commitment for you as an individual. It's a big time commitment for your family. It's a time commitment for your community. It's a financial commitment. People have to leave their lives. They have to move. They have to leave their children. There are so many sacrifices that people make to be a midwife. So I think it's a great idea to become a doula first. Here's why. For a few $100s and a few hours, anywhere from 24 to 40 hours, you can become a midwife. It takes thousands of dollars and 24 to 48 months to become a midwife. But in becoming a doula, you can kind of get your feet wet. You can kind of investigate how this work feels, what it means to be on call, what it means to have to get out of your bed at 1 o'clock in the morning when it's freezing and raining outside because somebody's in labor, and it doesn't matter that it's freezing and raining and that your baby is crying or somebody's out of town or whatever. If you are doing this work, it takes sacrifice and it takes a full commitment, so those kinds of things happen. And so I feel like being a doula gives you an opportunity to kind of get involved in the work without having to spend as much time and as much money to see if this is the work that you really want to do. A lot of times people think they want to be a midwife, and in reality they just want to work with women and babies, right? So you can do that in so many different capacities, and we need people on all fronts of this work, from lactation, home visitation, baby nurses, doulas, midwives, everything, obstetricians as well. We need obstetricians, everything in between. So becoming a doula, or maybe like a CLC, certified lactation counselor, those to me are really good introductory ways to get involved in the work and to begin trying to figure out what your next path will be. The reality is, like I said in the beginning, this is a lifelong journey, and where you sit today in your journey about wanting to help families in birth is not going to be the same place that you are in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years. If it is the same place, then in some ways that's an issue, because we should always be evolving and growing and learning and experiencing new and different things. So at the end of the day, you want to really, again, sit with yourself and determine, who do I want to serve? Do I want to serve Black women? Do I want to serve anybody? Do I want to serve diverse communities? Who do I want to serve? People with insurance? Do I want to serve women who want home birth, hospital birth? Where do you want to serve? Again, that's the hospital birth, birth center birth, home birth, Louisiana, Georgia, California, Arkansas. All of these different things matter. All of it matters. How do you want to serve? Knowing that you have to serve in this work from your heart. You have to be all in. And also know that how you feel today can certainly change. I'll tell you a quick experience from myself. Like when I first went to nurse midwifery school, I was taking a huge leap of faith. I was coming from an inner city hospital in the middle of the crack cocaine epidemic, where we had a lot of preterm births, a lot of high risk pregnancies happening, all kind of stuff. And so I go to midwifery school, and all of a sudden I learned that, wait a minute, people can walk and eat when they're in labor, and they can get out of bed, and it's safe. Because you see how I was trained as a labor and delivery nurse at this high-risk facility? You couldn't do any of that. You were in bed, you were on your side, you were on the monitor, because if we did not do those things, then we were risking the life of you or your baby. That's how I was trained, and so that's what I believed. And when I went to midwifery school and I began to learn different, I was floored. And I was like, wow. Now, I graduated from midwifery school like a 180 from when I went into midwifery school. And when I graduated from midwifery school, I thought home birth was cute and that it was an okay option for some people. And I'm glad that we have some of those midwives over there who will do home birth, but that's not something that I would ever do. And now here I am in 2019, another full 180, and I'm like, who goes to the hospital? Why are you going to the hospital to have a baby? So I say that to say that you will shift and you will grow and you will learn, and your experiences will color how you move through this work. But don't give up your journey. Don't give up because you don't have the money for the doula training in March, or they sold out the class in March. Take the class in September. Go to California. Take a class with another doula trainer. Know that there are many different options out there. Keep searching. It's the sister Dasha Tate. She has a website where she put all of the Black training organizations, all of the different things that I'll have to add this link to this live so that people can follow it. But it's a really good resource where she lists, if you're really looking for a woman of color, a person of color to do your training, she has a list of all of the trainers of color who are doing this work. So if that's what you're looking for, you can find it. Don't let things discourage you. Google. You can simply Google midwife. People email me. I'm like, Google midwife. What is a midwife? How do I become a midwife? Go to MEAC, M-E-A-C, Midwives Education and Accreditation Council. Look at their website. The American College of Nurse Midwives. Look at their website. Those are places where you can get started. Look at MANA, Midwives Alliance of North America. Look at their website. Look at NACPM, the National CPM, National Association of Certified Professional Midwives. Go to their website. Read these different websites. Look at the credentials and the requirements of what it means to become a midwife, and you can get that information. And if we go back to being a doula, like I said, you do not have to be a doula first at all, but I do recommend it because it gives you an opportunity to be on call, to touch bellies, to touch lives, to get really, really connected to this birth work and see, is this really what I want to do and how I want to go? So I think that's it for tonight, y'all. I just want to kind of do a quick shout out, really, because I want the ladies who emailed me. I was like, how am I going to answer that question? I didn't feel like typing. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make that my live conversation tonight. What next, right? And again, I just want to shout out my girl, Sakisa Berry. Get this book, When Birth Calls. It's going to answer a lot of your basic questions. Different kind of midwives. What's the difference between a midwife and a doula? Pick it up. And yeah, if anybody watching has a question about being a midwife or being a doula, I'd be happy to answer it. This is kind of sidebar. A lot of times people will ask me if my training is a donor training. And my answer is nope. Not a donor training, not donor, not affiliated with donor. I am Sister Midwife Productions. I have my very own curriculum, my own specially designed training that I created very specifically on purpose with intention to give the information that I want to give. Donor is not the only training organization in the country. We want to understand that in birth work, there are not regulations around donor, or not around donor, around doulas. So there are no full state regulations around licensure and certification of doulas, and no one training organization should have a monopoly on creating birth sisters to go into our community to help people have better birth outcomes. So if you're interested in this work, find the training that suits what you want to do, where you want to go, and how you want to serve. Would you say, Keisha Smith? So glad I caught this. Do you have a question? Let me know, because I'm about to hang up and get out of here. And yeah, I think that's it tonight. So thank you. Peace, y'all.